That's just great. So now this, let's start with the BP oil thing. I was talking with the historian, Doug Brinkley, who's investigating this whole situation, talking about not a more arrogant company on the planet than BP Oil. And now we discover, you've seen these television ads that are running where they're claiming they're paying everybody and claims office open 24/7 and all that.
Right.
Well, they're not doing that. So they're not paying anybody, or few people, if any. So my question is, what can you do about that? What can Congress do?
Yeah, first of all, keep the heat on them. I give the president credit for actually going after them last month, making them put the money up, and just do whatever we can, whether it's through the Coast Guard, whether it's through FEMA, whether it's through any regulatory agency we have, just to absolutely keep the heat on them, because they've shown from day one to be totally untrustworthy. I mean, they have botched this completely. They've lied about it. Now you have the whole issue of whether or not they were involved with the Libyan oil deal. They came before Congress, made fools out of themselves, and it's been really a company which has just acted disgracefully from beginning to end. And you have Americans whose whole lives and fortunes have been ruined because of BP, and they are going slow on the payments. They are just again not living up to their word, and we as a government should do whatever we have to do to keep the pressure on them and to make sure that every dollar that they've agreed to pay out and should pay out is paid out.
Do you know the details of this deal that the president made with them? That they paid the $20 billion, whatever it is. Do you know what hammer the president has if in fact they don't do is what he can do?
What he has done is put Ken Feinberg in charge of it. Basically, what the president's done by putting Ken Feinberg in charge of this fund is the same thing that was done with the 9/11 fund, which did have some problems at the beginning, but overall, Ken Feinberg did a tremendous job. He is now attempting to administer this program, and basically we can use the clout of the American government to by the way, I have no doubt that Ken Feinberg, when he sees payments not being made, when he sees BP reneging, he will be out front because he's a tough guy. And again, in the beginning, when he first took over the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund, there were some difficult moments. But I tell you, over the course of the time of that fund, there's a guy who really threw his heart and soul into it and did a phenomenal job. And so I'd be relying on Feinberg a lot, Ken Feinberg, as to what we should do, how we should do it, and work with him. But with the president and the Congress have to make it clear that we stand behind Ken Feinberg, and he has our full support.
Well, when I asked you the question, it sounded to me like you didn't know what the deal is, and then you went to Feinberg.
What I'm saying is what the deal is, just as with the 9/11 fund, the money is appropriated, the money for 9/11 was made available. Now with BP, they have to come up with the money, but Feinberg is going to be the person who administers it and presides over it. Obviously, you can't lay out all the specific details. You leave that to the guy who's in charge, and that's Feinberg. I wouldn't want to tie Feinberg's hands. I want to give him as much leeway as he has, because I've seen the outstanding job he's done in the past.
On a far more serious note, this WikiLeaks deal, is that a big deal or not? Or your hair on fire over that? What?
It's a big deal to this extent. First of all, there's no real overall information there that we didn't know before. We know there's been troubles with Pakistan. We know there's been troubles with the ISI. There's some double agents in there. But what bothers me is that when you get this much information put out there, there has to be information there that's going to help the enemy, because they can now learn, when we knew some things, how we found out about it. They're going to be analyzing those 90,000 records. And so it can only hurt us that way. And it is going to put, I believe, unfortunately, American lives at risk. As far as the overall debate, these are moments in time. There's not any real context. So I don't think we learned anything overall, strategically, that's of any great importance. I don't think the enemy did either as far as the big issues. But I'm very concerned about when they can get timelines. They can find out what we knew at certain dates, see how we reacted, and they can use that as a gauge for the future. So I think we should take it very seriously as far as going after whoever did this. Prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Because, when you have American lives on the line, whether you support the war, oppose the war, the fact is American men and women putting their lives on the line. And for anyone to think that he has the right to disclose secret information and put their lives at risk is absolutely disgraceful.
Charles and Bernard had their hair, well, Bernard didn't have his hair on fire, but Charles did. Described the act as treasonous. You agree with that?
I do. I think this is absolutely, violates espionage laws. I consider it treason. To me, in time of war, I mean, just think if this were World War II and you had somebody in the War Department releasing 90,000 documents about the conduct of the war, about attitudes in the war. It is, to me, and I think we've taken this, we sort of trivialize it too much. We have these guys on television, the guy from Australia, and we sort of make him out to be a character. The fact is what happened here, and whoever gave them that information is guilty, to me, of the most detestable, contemptible crime, and we have to take it seriously. We have to make it clear that we're not going to allow it to happen again, and this guy should get, whoever it is, if it's that sergeant, or again, I don't know who it is, but whoever they find out who did it has to be prosecuted and punished to the fullest extent of the law. I mean, it's not funny business. This is for real.
17 till the hour, talking with Congressman Peter King here on the Imus program from New York. Have you commiserated with your fellow New York Congressman Charles Rangel over his situation?
Actually, Charlie Rangel is a nice guy. He's going to have to face the charges, but I consider Charlie a friend, and I'm not going to take any shots at him. Whatever he did, he's going to have to explain it. But again, no one's ever accused Charlie Rangel of trying to enrich himself. And unlike a lot of people in Congress or people in show business or in public life, I've never seen him abuse anyone, give anybody a hard time, and that means something. And also, let's face it, the guy was a war hero. So, what mistakes he made, he's going to have to pay the price for that. But again, he's a guy who got shot and saved troops in the snow in Korea. To me, that means something.
Well, if you'd have been watching NBC News, which nobody does anymore, but you'd have saw him abuse and be rude to and disrespectful to Tim Russell's son, Luke Russell, to ask him just a legitimate question. So,
yeah, he also called Luke the next day, and I know Luke pretty well, so he's a nice guy. But the fact is, when you're under pressure, when you're walking out of a room and suddenly you're accused of everything, and somebody's putting a microphone in your face, that's human nature. I'm talking about someone.
Remember, for the grace of God, if we were to peel back the onion on you, who the hell knows what we'd find? Oh my God! I mean, you'd be in prison, so wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you never know. I just do the best I can. I'm just a struggling Irish Catholic kid trying to, make the best and overcoming original sin.
Back to your election for a second here. Do you think the Republicans will take control of the House?
Right now, obviously, if the elections were today, we probably would, but it's a long way from now to November. I would hope that Republicans stay on target here. But no, I mean, people very seriously do not support President Obama's policies. They do not support the Democrats in Congress, and we have to show that we're ready for prime time. If the elections were today, I would think we'd win. But again, anyone who's counting on victory is making a big mistake. But right now, if I had to bet, I'd say yes, we are going to do it. We have the opportunity to do it. Probably there's 30 to 35 seats that we should take. We're supposed to take 40, and once you get to 30 or 35, if there's any kind of a wave or surge, it goes your way. But, whether it's the economy, whether it's taxes, whether it's the 9/11 trials in New York, you just go down the line, and the president is out of step with the American people. The health care bill that, overwhelming majorities oppose, and he just rammed it through. So I would say the combination of President Obama and Nancy Pelosi is enough to give Republicans the opportunity to win. But it's up to us to get the message out there and get the job done. And we have to go into enemy territory to do it. That's why I'm on your show.
Hey, how about Governor Christie blaming New Yorkers for those?
I like Governor Christie. I can see Governor Christie running for president, but this whole idea of blaming New York for these, lowlifes that are in New Jersey, the reason they go to New Jersey, it's the only state they feel comfortable in. They can't make it New York, so they have to get down to New Jersey. So that's just like an attractive nuisance. That's why they go to New Jersey. So Governor Christie, I think he's doing a great job in the budget. I think he'd be an outstanding candidate for president. He really personifies the best of the Republican Party, but he's got to knock off this criticizing New York. I mean, New Jersey, what is New Jersey? It's mosquitoes, it's Jimmy Hoffa's body, and what is it? I mean, but he is, to the end, Governor Christie himself, other than that mistake, is, I think, doing an outstanding job.
You're a lot of fun to have on, Congressman. Thanks for being a good sport. I appreciate it.
Tom, thank you. And don't call me a fat dope, because, again, I'm in good shape. I'm almost like Bernard these days.
You are a fat dope. Now get off the phone.
Okay, let's stay alive a while longer. Take it easy.
Congressman Peter King here on the Imus program.